welcome to our Christmas edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Energy Gum, a fast-acting alternative to energy drinks 5 times faster without filling up on liquids. I'm Jeremy Elliott, joined by Ryan Hand, and as always, it's going to be a regular, I think, on our annual Christmas edition. We're joined by Tyler Swank for a full hour. We don't know what's going to happen. Tyler, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys? Actually, I'm a little pissed off at you.
Yeah, I got him out of the watering hole early.
Yeah, I was at my watering hole getting my mind right, and I'd ordered snacks and had a couple beers on ice and all that. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, can you do this at 5:30? I'm like, yeah, I can do this at 5:30. And it's like, wait, is this Eastern time zone or God's time zone? Oh, I forget that you live in Iowa. So
it's
here I am.
But
my tabs, they left my tab open because when I get done doing this, I'm probably going to go back.
Yeah, well,
if you for 1 minute think it's going to be only an hour show, you're out of your mind.
It's probably going to be closer to 2, but that's okay.
No, it will not be 2 because I have stuff to do then as well.
Oh, geez.
I work for a living, buddy.
What day is it? Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Is it 2 for 1 down at the massage parlor?
No, that's not me. They're a massage parlor in Lebanon. Get out of here.
Well, I didn't know.
We're lucky we have an adult gift shop.
Oh, you do have one of them?
We do have one. Not that
next time. Next time I won't get you Moose LZ's freaking gift cards. I'll get you the freaking gift cards to the old Adam and Eve's or whatever they call it over there.
Thank you. Before we go any further, because we got a lot to cover, our picks from last year, we sucked. There's no two ways about it.
But did we swallow?
We did everything because that's how bad it was. Although you
twist and turn.
Yeah, you had 2 right out of all the ones we did. So, but breaking news in the world of sprint car racing. This is huge, not only for sprint car racing, but for our show in general. Our boy, Jovan Schriltz, got a cell phone. That's right.
Oh, my.
Ryan. He got a cell phone. He is now part of, I don't know, what, the 20th century?
20th century, yeah.
I mean, I actually talked to him on it yesterday. It went through Google. He's doing all kinds. He even said to me, I said about texting. He goes, can I do that? I'm like, yes, you can do that.
Oh, my.
Tyler doesn't realize how much Joe is technology.
In a cave?
Yeah.
Well, I used to think he was a pretty intelligent person from the couple of conversations I had, but now that I know he's got a cell phone, smartphone thing, he's kind of like the rest of us freaking idiots now, isn't he?
He dumbed it up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Did he just get indoor plumbing last week, and then we got a cell phone this week?
Yep. He does he has air conditioning. I think.
Yeah, well, he's in California, so when it's in the middle of December, January, you don't mind going outside to take a shit.
Well, no, he's such a weird guy. Well, not weird, but he does his own thing. He lives in a place that's kind of like San Diego, even though it's not San Diego, it's Fremont, and it's like it's between 70 and 75 every day, sunny, and at night it's no lower than 55 or 60. I don't know. He's always saying how great the weather is. I said, yeah, but
sounds like good fat guy weather.
It is good. Yeah, but Joe's like doing 100 push-ups every day. He's 64. He's, I just told him he's going to fall in the ocean. That's the only problem with all that. At some point.
Sometimes that's a chance you have to take.
Yeah, no, I'll stay in Pennsylvania. Thank you. Speaking of weather, Tyler, surprised to see you're around. I'm surprised you didn't blow away last week.
Well, it was kind of trippy because we had like a Duratio Junior again, and I'm sitting in the house, and me being stubborn, I'm not leaving my cats, so I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, for like 30 seconds, the windows go like this, and I'm like, this probably is not going to be good. And then all of a sudden, it stopped, and then the wind blew for forever. So we had like 70, 80 mile an hour sustained gusts. And so I don't know. I think the town got pretty lucky. When I got up for work the next day, it was still kind of dark out because the sun don't come up till about 9 o'clock anymore. But I thought I got off okay. But one of my sheds in my garage has the siding ripped off of it and all that crap. But yeah, it was December 16th or whatever it was. I'm wearing shorts, and then that night I'm freaking getting ready to get blown away. So usually we get 50 foot of snow this time, but instead we got hellacious tornadoes and all kinds of crap. So, but global warming's not real. It's a hoax.
Yeah, we've had that discussion. But
Oh yeah.
we're going to jump into some racing stuff now that we got the breaking news out of the way. By the way, I wish I was in California with Joe, just watching him negotiate this thing, because I think that would be amusing. I would video it. But, you know, it's been a little bit of a tough year for you, Tyler, and I wanted to talk to you about that, obviously, out of the gate. You were with Gio to start the year, and then you got let go from there, and then you kind of bounced around, and then you hooked up with Aaron Reitzel. You just had a lot of stuff personally and, you know, work-wise. You're probably happy to get out of this year.
Yeah, January 1st can't come soon enough, but I don't know, it is what it is. I've had a pretty good life as far as nothing bad happening and, you know, personally, and, you know, the racing thing is what it is. It's just, you know, it's nature of the business. And the more I dive into the NFL and the business side of all that and stuff, it's not really any different, sort of. It's the same, but different. So, you know, I think I've landed in a pretty good spot. So we shall see it. Yeah. Going from, this is what, my third job this year. And I actually really wasn't looking for it, because after Parker's dad brought us home, and I think that was May after Lincoln or whatever, I was just, you know, I've been lucky enough that I'm a tightwad. So I've saved pretty much my first dollar. And I didn't really want to spend it, but I didn't really want to do anything the rest of summer because there was some stuff I wanted to do. And then, you know, Brian Ridge comes along and, you know, he's like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to build a race team, and I want you to do it, and no expectations, and take as long as you need. And that was before Aaron fell into our lap. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, personal life, it was trying. A couple deaths, you know, I'm bachelor of the year now, and or sprint car racing's most eligible bachelor. So yeah, there was all that, and had my identity stole twice, which I don't think I've talked to you, but they stole that son of a bitch again and cleaned me out. So I'm sitting here yes. Yeah. So I don't know what you people out there got to do to protect your identity, you know, but figure it out, because I thought I was doing everything right after it happened in May. And now here I am sitting with a thumb in my ass, and I had to go borrow money from my mom and dad just so I could buy them Christmas presents, because I can't get to none of mine. So that's in the middle of the whole fraud litigation thing. And so, yeah, it's been trying, but you know what? It could always be worse. There's a lot of people out there that have it worse than me. So, I mean, I got a roof over my head, and you can't hear it, but I got my cats having a battle royal over in the living room. And, you know, I got a good race team, and I got 3 awesome girls in my life. And I don't know. I mean, glass half full, glass half empty. I'm going to look at it glass half full.
Also, you know, how do you, I guess the hard question is, how do you juggle that personal and racing? Because, I mean, look, racing has been a big part of your life for, God, how long?
1997.
1997. And, you know, when things are going bad personally, you can't feel like going back to the racetrack, especially after, you know, things weren't going well at the racetrack.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's like shit rolls downhill and you're at the bottom of it. So I don't know. I mean, I guess at 44 years old, it was a good reevaluation time for me to figure out what it is I really want. You know, I want to have a real life, or now that, the smoke's cleared on some stuff and I'm by myself or however that goes. I've kind of, I guess this sounds stupid, but I've kind of rededicated myself towards the racing thing. And I don't know, because nothing, other than my 3 girls and all that and my parents, nothing, I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to call home. I just 1000% focused on racing. And it'll be interesting because it's been a while since I've been able to do that, like a long time. So I don't know. It's gonna be different, but and then everybody can say, and I don't. This is such bullshit. But when your personal life sucks, no matter what it is, whether you're in financial turmoil or relationship turmoil, or I lost my grandfather and my brother-in-law in the span of a week or 10 days. It wears on you, and even when you go to the races, that's still always in the back of your mind, and and part of why I didn't want to do nothing over the summer was just so I could get myself gathered up and my wits about me, because I don't know, when you kind of get fired, I guess, that's on a professional level, you just kind of go, that's the way it is. But then when you completely shit the bed on your next thing, which was kind of already maybe in the gutter to begin with, when you get there, it just kind of snowballs where it was like, okay, I just need to sit back and take a break. But then again, when something like the Brian Ridge and the TRD deal and Aaron Reitzel fall into your lap, I mean, you got to do it. So it's game on.
We'll talk about that a little in our second segment with you. I want to go over our picks for last year. Going to lighten it up a little bit because, boy, we were bad. We were just bad. I'm just going to go through some of them real quick. The first one was, will Donnie Schatz bounce back? Now, we did this show before the start of, 2021 season, and we all had that wrong. Because not only did he finish 4th in points, he had 5 wins overall, 3 with the World of Outlaws. We each had him going double digits, contending for the title. That never happened. It was actually 2 things there. Would he win the title and would he win double digits? All 3 of us were wrong. Here's where Tyler was right. Will Brad Sweet win his 3rd title? Of course, Ryan and I were on the Donnie Schatz train. Way to go. You had him winning his 3rd title, Tyler.
Thank you. And I'll have him winning his 4th title until I'm proved wrong.
Ooh. That's one of our segment 3 topics when we look ahead. Ryan, no offense, you got everything wrong we talked about.
Might not surprise me.
Well,
the way that year went and all the picks I had, Jesus Christ, even you beat me.
Well, actually, Tyler and I tied because I did get one right, and I didn't know what to do with one of Tyler's, so I gave him the nod. But another one was, would Logan Schuchart contend for a title? This is where Tyler and I were right and you were wrong. We said no. You said he would not. Explain yourself. What's going on here?
I felt like they were in a good place going into the year. Obviously, they weren't. I feel like they're in a good place going into next year, too. I felt like since Knoxville on, they've been very fast.
Yeah, but they can't finish.
Well, they did. They finished the year before. They didn't finish this year.
Yeah. So you think it's going to be reversed?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, obviously, I think some of their problems this year might have been motor related, and I think that might have had something to do with parts and getting stuff back and forth and availability for their guys. So I don't know. I think he still has speed though.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, he's fast. He should have swept World Finals.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he still has speed. So, yeah, one of the things that they overcame a year ago was the reliability problem. They were actually, in the hunt for the championship because that was the first year that they really had their program on reliability. And then it kind of didn't work again this year. So.
No, it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. Here's one that I got right over you two, and I'm surprised I got it right over Tyler because He's a David Gravel guy. I said he'd get double-digit wins. You guys said he would not.
How many did he get? Like 12?
He had 11 outlaw wins. Then he won that one at Huset's and the
Yeah.
Capitani. So I'd say 13, 14.
Okay.
Yep. So just remember, David, I'm in your.
Yeah. And Jeremy Elliott gets a sticker by his name.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It was the last sticker because after that, and I'll get to, the biggest surprise, we were way off. That sticker I got, I said the KCP team would get 13 wins. They got 2. I don't think letting you go was maybe the smart thing. Just saying.
I don't know. You said 13 wins. I don't even think I made it 13 races. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously they weren't happy with plan A, which was me, and didn't like the direction it was going. So they brought plan B in, and well, obviously that didn't work either. So hell, they're on as many crew chiefs as I am on jobs. So I don't know. I mean,
yeah, you don't have
sometimes you just got to let stuff play out. So, I don't know. Went to Florida with a freaking, an engine that never been on the racetrack, and I remember Gio at Scraven, and if he denies this, he's lying. There in East Bay, he's like, man, I've never been on places like this before in my life. And I'm like, well, of course you haven't. Your balls haven't dropped yet because you're a kid. He'd never been this far east. So, I don't know. I felt like we had decent speed at times, and, you could always be better. But I guess they didn't like the direction that I was taking the team in, so that's their prerogative. It's the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules, and they made a change there, and I don't know. I mean, I think maybe everybody was expecting them to set the world on fire, and I don't really feel like they did, and that's not me being shitty about it, because I was over in probably 10, 15 minutes after I got let go, but the stats don't lie. So now they're on their third guy. So, they're all my friends. I still like them, and Adam's still there, and, he'll forever have a soft spot in my heart. But, sometimes you can't will something into working that maybe isn't going to work. So I don't know.
I mean, you were fast and
but yeah, you really shit the bed on that prediction.
I lost my sticker.
Or is that my fault? Because I wasn't there.
I'm blaming you now.
That's fine.
But
yeah, jump on the wagon.
Both of you Ryan had a prediction, and you both got this wrong because you chimed in with it, was California wouldn't see an outlaw race last year.
Shit, they went out there. Yeah, they did go out there, didn't they?
Yeah, they went out there in September. Yeah. So, and this is one, and I can't really beat Tyler up for this because it was more of a fan wish thing than you said about Greg Wilson winning one of the races at Eldora the week of the Kings Royal.
Yeah.
You went Mr. Softy on us.
I did.
Look at Ryan. But now the top fives.
Well, I got a little emotional there, so it won't happen again.
Won't
happen.
Okay. Top 5 in the outlaw points was Brad Sweet, David Gravel, Carson Macedo, Donnie Schatz, Logan Schuchart. None of us had Carson Macedo there. So none of us saw that coming. Again, Tyler had the lone spot right. He had Brad Sweet winning it. Obviously, Ryan and I we each had shots. We each, of course, had Sweet second, so lost that. Ryan and I had Logan Schuchart third. Obviously, we were wrong. Tyler had Logan Schuchart fourth, so he was closer. I had Sheldon 4th, which looked good for a while. Then he backed her up to 6th in the second half of the year. Ryan, you had David Gravel. I had David Gravel 5th. So as much as I supported him winning double digits, kind of screwed him on I misjudged where he'd finish. Ryan had Sheldon there. And then Tyler had Sweet, Shots, Gravel, Logan, and Sheldon. So, Tyler, you were closer. Ryan, what are your thoughts on all those wrong picks?
Well, we definitely missed out on the Donnie Shots thing for sure. That didn't pan out the way we kind of thought it would. The Macedo thing certainly worked out well for them guys. He was fast on a lot of occasions. Won way more races than I think any of us thought he would have. We all kind of had Sheldon somewhere in the top 5, and that didn't work out. As the year went on, it seemed like they might have lost some mojo or something. I don't know. They were fast in the mid part of the year, and then kind of nothing happened late.
I agree. And this leads us into what was the biggest surprise of 2021? I'll go to you, Ryan, first. It can be anything across the country, Outlaws, All-Stars, locally. For you, Ryan.
For me, honestly, Tyler Courtney. I mean, I didn't expect them to win the All-Star points, but I also he won a King's Royal race too. So I mean, it was I thought he'd win some races, but I didn't think he'd be as dominant as he was with the All-Stars for sure.
What about you, Tyler?
Biggest surprise. Did Brett Marks start out in the 5-car?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always felt like Brett Marks had it, but I didn't think I always felt like he could be really, really good. And I don't want to throw good and great around there, but I think he's, he kind of come out of nowhere a little bit, and, there was no flukes. So that, and, I probably have the other biggest surprise was I went to Dingus for the first time in 12 years.
That's more surprising, I think, than any of this.
Yes. Yeah. And it's still the same, just more names on the wall. But no, I don't know. I'd say Brett Marks probably. And
14 wins. I didn't have him at that.
No. And Tyler Courtney, I always felt like he had it, but I didn't know they would come out and win the championship. I kind of thought maybe Boomer Eliason would get it or but yeah, they just kind of come out of nowhere because even their guys that work on the car, I don't know how much wing experience they have. So good for them. So that's probably a big one. And then probably the other one's Donnie running 4th. Was it 4th in points or was he 4th or 3rd?
4th.
Yeah. Well, I was listening earlier. I just forgot. But yeah, that, if he ain't going to win, he's usually right there in the hunt. And he just kind of ho-hum. So
that's mine. Donnie winning 5.
Yeah.
If you would have told me that, I would have never believed it. If you would have told me he would be 4th in the standings, would have never believed it. It just didn't start out well. And now, it should be noted, from like July on, he outscored everybody in the Outlaws points, I think by over 100.
Yeah, but they keep points all year, so
well, yes, they
do. So yeah, I get that, but
it doesn't help me. But yeah, I was
right. If I go home from the bar at 9 or 10 o'clock, I'm probably not going to get laid. But if I stay till 2 o'clock, there's a good chance that even me might go home with a companion. So
chances definitely yes.
Exactly.
Now this is a little different. Most interesting story of the year. And not so much a surprise, but the thing that really made you go, huh, what stands out? Tyler, I'm going to put you on the spot first, or I could go first.
I'll go first. I'm not picking on him because I get to race with him next year, but I'd say the suspension of Aaron's deal, that whole deal was just kind of, I don't know. It was kind of out of left field, I felt. And then, some people thought it was not, the suspension wasn't as harsh as it should be. And some thought it should have been harsher. So I would say as far as, stuff punching in the face, as far as a surprise, I'd say that. So that's mine.
How about you, Ryan?
I don't know that I have a surprise that jumps off the page. I mean, I felt like Donnie was definitely not what we kind of had thought it was going to end up being, for sure. That was a big surprise. The fact that how many wins does he have in the last 2 years? I mean, I think that's a pretty big surprise.
It's not even 10,
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah, I mean, Donnie used to go for 20 a year without an issue. And in 2 years, he hasn't gotten to 10. I'd say, I mean,
Interesting kind of.
it's a surprise to me a little bit, a lot bit.
Now I'm not going with surprise, but most interesting to me, and I know this is, and Ryan's going to shake his head because the battle between Dominic Scelzi and Justin Sanders out in California, they each had 20 wins. It isn't often that you have two drivers running locally against each other as much as they did. Each have 20 wins. Now, granted, they have 360s and 410s, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
20 wins. And the other most interesting thing is like the top 6 guys on the open wheel list of wins are all from California. There's something going on there. I mean, this isn't luck. Okay. They're not from Pennsylvania. Okay. They're all like, you have Kofoid, Larson, Brad Sweet, Justin Sanders, Dominic Scelzi, Justin Grant is from out there. All those guys, Logan Seavey, I mean, they're all California guys. I don't know what they're putting in the water out there. I mean, Tyler, do you kind of notice where drivers are from and what they're doing and maybe what's going on?
I don't know. I've kind of wondered that myself, but like Pennsylvania tracks, you just got to be smooth and just learn how to go fast. Out in California, you got to learn how to get it on. So maybe it's just the vicious cycle that, here in quite a big span of recent history, they've all been from California, but there has been guys from Pennsylvania before, and, a couple from Iowa and a couple from Ohio. So it just seems like when it was California's turn, they're not giving it back to anybody, they're not tagging anybody else in. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the style of tracks. Maybe it's because they got more micro sprint, mini sprint racing out there. I don't know. Maybe they started at a younger age. So I've kind of always wondered that myself. So
what are you thinking, Ryan? I know this pains you.
It doesn't pain. No, it doesn't pain me. I think, and I can't say it's number of races but I mean, like a guy like Buddy Kofoid ran 90. He probably ran more races in everything combined this year than anybody.
If he had his asphalt, but that doesn't count toward open wheel wins.
No, the 12-car races don't count.
Ooh.
Yeah, they don't count.
Wow.
I think it's. I know. That's my one thing I can beat up on Joe with. But
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like they got a lot of young guys with a lot of talent. Obviously, you're not taking anything away from Kyle Larson. I mean, he's the best driver right now, in my opinion, anywhere. Ever, yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, in our generation, for sure. I've never seen. I mean,
he blows AJ Foyt and Tony Stewart out of the water.
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched Tony Stewart and thought that he was the most. He could adapt so quickly to anything he got in, and then you see Kyle Larson.
Well, yeah, Tony adapted and won. Kyle Larson just wins. I mean, wasn't he out there in your part of the country, Jeremy, and just jumped in a late model at Port Royal, kicked everybody's ass? I know you were probably at the rub and tug, so you didn't notice till a couple days later.
Look,
I just, pound for hey, when have you ever seen an Asian fail at anything?
You got me there.
There you go.
But
so he's got it.
He's not the best of all time. You can't give that to him yet.
Who's the best of all time?
AJ Foyt. Be careful.
Tell me why.
Well, he's won 24-hour, the Daytona 500, the Indianapolis 500, Le Mans, won USAC races.
Did he do all this before 30?
What's that matter? He still did it. I don't
Well, I
think.
know he's 106 now, so
Why?
no. What I'm saying is, are we comparing LeBron and Jordan?
Well,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, should we have this discussion when Kyle Larson's 60 years old instead of when he's, what is he, 28, 29?
yes. See now that yes, and that's what
You
gets
see what I'm saying?
That's what
But
gets
just look at, and I didn't grow up, and I think Ryan and I are probably the same age, but, I don't ever remember getting to go watch AJ Foyt at the races or not. But, we've watched a lot of freaking old tapes of him and stuff like that. There's no doubt he was the GOAT, but I don't know. Larson might be the GOAT 2.0, and I'm not kissing his ass, and I don't think Ryan is either. It's just,
Are we putting him in your car next year? This sounds very.
Well, let's see. We got Chinese frames, Japanese engines. Why don't have an Asian driver? There we go. See, now if we could just get your massage parlor to sponsor us,
there you have
we'd
it.
have the whole freaking gamut.
It's the Benihana car.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really good. I gotta go.
Here, I think we crossed the PC thing. About 10
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to edit that thing out with me being a grandpa too. So
I'll edit that.
yeah.
But look, I think he's great. Don't get me wrong, but he's got to do it longer. And
you think we're reacting with emotion?
I know people are acting with emotion.
Yeah.
Ryan's all in.
I think it's easier. I have never seen AJ Foyt race. I've only seen maybe snippets on clips and stuff like that.
Dick Wallen's video collection.
Yes.
Yes.
I've watched in person Larson. I was there. I think I was there the night he won the late mile race. I've watched him in person, and it's crazy.
That's fair, and I'm not discounting any of that. All I'm saying is we need to pump the brakes on. Hey, he's the best of all time, because I need to see more. If he
pay attention.
Well, no, that's fine. That's fine. But and in 10 years or whatever, I might say, you know what? Yes, he is. I'm just cautious to do it now because tomorrow could be his last win for whatever reason. And that's it. It's got to be in its totality. I think with LeBron and Michael Jordan, LeBron's been around long enough, you could say.
You think? How much longer can LeBron be around?
Well, he's a house. Built like a linebacker.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's starting to get injured more and more, longer and longer.
Well, I said his team sucks and he can't play defense. But that's another story for another time.
They don't play defense in the NBA anyway.
I know.
Good point. Good point.
That's a good place to leave segment one. That's going to wrap up our first segment with Tyler.
You have a lot of editing to do.
Not a lot. One thing. Only one thing. That's going to wrap up segment one. SprintCarLimited.com podcast. We'll be back in segment two. Stay tuned. Welcome to segment two, SprintCarLimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Energy Gum. We're still joined by Tyler Swank, Ryan Hand also in, and we're going to get some random thoughts from Tyler here on some different, just random sprint car issues, some things. Tyler, you see all the silly season stuff every year. Do you ever scratch your head at some of these hires? You've been in the pit area with these guys. Is this sport about winning anymore? Because And look, I'm not going to mention names, but I just see some of the hiring and firing, and it just doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I think it's the only professional sport where maybe politics overrides stats, maybe. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I shouldn't say a lot of stuff, but over like a year of, I'll just say a span of 10, 15 years, there's been some head scratchers, and some things like that. It's, we talked about earlier about Ryan and I being emotional about Kyle Larson being the GOAT. I mean, sometimes I think maybe car owners hire drivers and mechanics all on emotion. So, a lot of it in this business, and we've talked about it before, is being a good salesman. You got some people that can sit there at the bar or whatever and blow a bunch of smoke up you can blow a bunch of smoke up someone's ass and, oh man, they're the greatest, they're the greatest, they're the greatest. Then there's some that just, they try to let, what they've done do the talking for them, but that maybe they're not as good as a salesman as what, the next guy is. So I don't know. I mean, I think if sprint car racing took on the NFL model, and I keep going to the NFL because I know football, it would be a way different freaking game. So,
yeah, stats don't lie.
No, there's some stuff that's it's like I can't believe that guy's still there or that guy's doing this. And hell, I'm sure there's a handful of people or half the majority that think that about me, and that's fine. But yeah, there's some head scratchers, man, and and there's a lot of this where someone will get their way, and whether that be a driver running a crew guy out or a crew chief running a driver out, they get their way and the results ain't any better or worse, that then nothing happens. There's no consequence. Your choice is your consequences. So they just kick we're the biggest group of guys that kick the can down the road. Not to use the overturned phrase, but that's the only one I can come up with at the moment. So yeah, there's some stuff that's head scratchers. And
do crew guys get blamed too much? Drivers get too much credit and crew guys get too much
I this sounds bad, and granted I am a crew guy, but yeah, I think drivers get too much, if they, if you're struggling, it's, the car's a piece of shit, the crew chief sucks or whatever, but no one takes into account the guy's hit a tractor tire for the last 15 races and knocked the front end out. So there's that. And, I don't know. We've lost the team dynamic, and we'll talk about it later, I'm sure, but that's what I'm hoping, that what I'm in now, it's more about the team than anybody getting the pat on the back. So there's a lot of ego involved in this. Ryan knows. I mean, Jeremy, you've been around a long. There's a lot of ego involved, and I think sometimes, and we had this discussion a while back at it was Aaron, myself, the boss, and the guy that works with us, Chad. We had that discussion one night. We were drinking beers and just eating shitty food somewhere, and I think guys get too worried about saving their job, whether you're a driver or a mechanic. And then it just ends up everything falling apart, instead of being like, hey, I don't have to worry about getting fired. All I have to worry about is getting this thing on the right track. So I don't know. I think guys, I think maybe guys are hired more with emotion and, the way it should be, or maybe who they are or whatnot, instead of just sitting back and, just looking at the big picture. And I know there's not a lot of car owners. There's more than what I've heard for the last 15 years is, we just keep running these car owners out of business. Well, Skylar G, however the hell you say his last name, he's got a new guy. And even my guy, who's been around for 3 years on the local level, I still consider him a new car owner. Yeah, because he's doing it now the right way. So I don't know. I mean, our pool's not very big to pick from, especially on the crew guy standpoint. Like we could sit here right now and I could maybe only think of 2 or 3 drivers on a professional level that, if, let's say I had a race team and I could race for 3 to 5 years, but I had to hire someone right now, I could maybe only think of 2 guys that are available to maybe go do that. So I don't know. I think there's a ton of drivers. I just think as far as guys that are true professionals that, do it for a living, that, or the Tom Brady's. There's, I mean, shit, look at the outlaw points. You got freaking Sweet, who, I mean, he takes it serious. I'm rambling on here because that's what I do. That's what I'm the best at. But it's just like there's certain groups or certain pods of drivers that take it seriously, and crew guys too. And I'll hold my hand up too, because sometimes when you're burned out and everybody thinks you're an idiot, and you're getting heat, you just kind of like, let's just get through tonight and get our shit together. Instead of being able to work on the problem, you're more worried about the gun to your head than you are anything else. So I don't know. I don't know if that was a long-winded answer or if I even answered your question, but it's just, it would be interesting if sprint car racing, and I've preached it before all the time, pro athletes, just for an example, are in shape. Freaking half the drivers in the pit area look like they're carrying around a small child in their belly. So I don't know.
Well, there's not enough crew guys. There's less crew chiefs than there are anything. And I think that's a real problem. Ryan, go ahead. You take the next one.
Tyler, what are your thoughts on this rash of wingless guys heading towards the wing world? What are your thoughts? And does Tyler Courtney moving here and seeing pretty much instant success, does that draw more wingless guys? Do we see more wingless guys coming in because of that? And can Tyler back up his monster season that he had?
I'll answer the easy question, and yes, Tyler can back it up. They might have a sophomore slump, but Tyler's not going to get any worse. He's just going to get better. He's special.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it. And I think what that does is give some of the other guys maybe a little false hope, because I think maybe 2 or 3 of the other ones are going to come in and think, well, Sunshine can do it, so why can't I? And I think they're in for a rude awakening. I really, really do. And, I think every once in a while you can be running third in a race and the top 2 take each other out, or they blow tires or something. That's kind of and then you win. That's kind of a fluke. I don't think Tyler Courtney's a fluke. Now, will he have a sophomore slump? Statistically, and we'll probably cover this in the next segment, of new teams, that the sophomore slump is real. But, I think Tyler Courtney having the success he is, it's great that these guys want to come up, because again, there's new blood, there's new car owners, in the wing sprint car thing. And I think they're looking at it from a financial standpoint that, it does pay better. It probably costs more money. But I think as far as the driver, I think they're in for a rude awakening, because I think they're going to see it's not as easy as what Tyler made it look like.
Mm-hmm.
No, Tyler,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, Tyler made it. When you win the King's Royal, and it's not like David Gravel wasn't on him. Now, the race played out well. It rubbered up. We know that. He was in position. He held off David Gravel. David Gravel was right there, and he could have made a mistake. Never made a mistake.
Right.
That's what stood out to me about that.
Yeah, but he was fast the whole weekend. Like every time he hit the track, he was fast. So it's not. I don't believe that was a fluke and rubber came in and helped him.
No.
He had a fast car there.
Well, remember, didn't he start on the pole of the second one?
Yeah, I think he did.
So it was good.
Well, even on that note, I think Tyler has something. He has a lot between the ears, and everybody looks at, on the outside looking in, like, my girls, they never, when I inherited them, they never been to a sprint car race, but they go just because I go. They become fans. They just think them guys are freaking nuts and half out of control. And, they've brought their boyfriends. And I've had friends of mine that never been to a sprint car race. And they're like, yeah, it's like watching a bunch of kamikaze pilots. But again, and I've preached this before, if you check the stats, the smart guys always win. At the end of the day, they always win 8 out of 10 races. And that's something Sunshine's got, that I don't think you can teach it. I mean, a guy from experience can get better or whatnot, but just have, racing intelligence. And like I'll like as far as intelligence, I'll use David Gravel as an example, and I hope he doesn't send me a text on this, but if I was asking him to get to anywhere in the United States, he wouldn't be my Google. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I want to go to Albuquerque. I wouldn't ask him for directions, but when it comes to racing and some other things that he does in life outside of racing, he's sharp. And it's not that I don't know if he's that not book smart. I think he was a good student, but in real life, but he's got common sense and intelligence and racing intelligence. And like, I'll even talk to him this day, and we're talking about his drag cars, or, when Cody got in his little accident, I called David to see if Cody was all right before I reached out to Cody. And, and we got to talking about racing. It's like, man, he is so tuned in. And I think, getting back to the Tyler Courtney thing, I think he's tuned in. It's unreal. So I don't know, but anyway, I think these other guys that are coming in, they're going to have a little bit of a rude awakening. I'm not saying they can't have success, but I don't think they're just going to march in here and take everybody's money out of their pocket.
Oh, they won't do what Courtney did.
No.
What do you think, Ryan? Do you think they will?
No, I agree. I think personally, I think they're coming here because I think the money's way better and they see that. But I mean, you still got to win races to make money. And I think it's way harder than what Tyler made it look like, for sure. So at the end of the day, I'm not sure how much further ahead they're going to be coming to the wing side of it than going back and kicking everybody's ass in the wingless style. But I mean, hey, for some of them, maybe it's a challenge. Maybe it's something that they want to try to do, and it's a challenge. So hey, good luck. I mean, it ain't easy.
So last question of this segment. And Tyler, I got a call today about your team. Well, Brian Ridge's team. Is Aaron going to run Outlaws? I said, no. He says, why not? He's crazy not to. Or All-Stars even. It's crazy not to. Go back to the All-Stars and win it. Tyler, compare running Outlaws. Now, you haven't run All-Stars full-time, but it's still series. And
I did with David back in the family car.
Yeah, you did years ago. I think it's a little different now, but and the pick and choose that you are going to run. Kind of compare those, if you could, for people, and why a team would take pick and choose even over, the inflated or the elevated point series first for the World Outlaws.
Well, I think just from our standpoint, we don't even have a program yet. I go to the shop every day. I look at one car that we've ran 3 races at the end of the last year, and that's all we got. Like, our other cars got shipped today. We don't have no wings, so a buddy of mine, for some reason, thinks he needs to get married, so I got to be out in Ohio on the 1st of January, and I'm going to work out picking my wings up then and all that. But if you're comparing Outlaws to All-Stars, I think with the All-Stars, maybe you can be a little off. And I know there's times when Aaron ran the All-Stars the first year he did, I still think he won the championship, but they weren't very organized, even his own admission. And to run the Outlaws, you have to have your ducks in a row. You have to have a crew. You have to have a reliable truck and trailer. You have to have an engine program. You just have to have all that. And I mean, we break ground on our new shop this week. Like, they're staking it tomorrow. And I think the weather's nice enough out here, they're going to start doing some dirt work. So we really don't even have a home. So as far as answering the question, why don't we run the Outlaws? Because we'll go out there and embarrass ourselves. And on top of that, we're going to help develop an engine, the Toyota. So this thing is, I think it's too, like, next year we're going to I think we get a free pass. We've already had that discussion with the, TRD, and our car owners even brought that up and all that, just with all the stuff we got going on. Next year, we have 80 races on the slate, but realistically, if we only do 40 or 50, then that's just the way it is. But you got to have the right program to do either one of them anymore. And we don't even have one. We have things in the works to build the program, and we're putting the right people in place. And, we have a business plan, but we don't, and we're executing it, but we have nothing. And we're already December 21st or whatever the hell it is, and we got to leave for Florida the 3rd of February, and we don't have anything. So we're not going to beat our balls with a hammer trying to run the Outlaws and build a program, build a team, build a shop, help get the engine program going like it should be. We're 2 years from doing that. So, and I think that's what a lot of the freaking unwashed masses don't understand is you just don't call up Speedway Motors or Kisslers or Indy Race Parts and just you get everything you need to race. You still got to do the work and build the program. And, we have no business doing the Outlaws. We're going to run the Outlaws. Then we're going to, if the weather's good, we're going to do those Louisiana, Mississippi. And then we're going to do Page, Texas. And we're not racing the whole month of March just for the simple fact is I'm only getting enough cars to go to Florida just because we're that far behind. And I'm hoping by the 1st of March, we can move into our new building and we're going to get, some cool stuff like mills and lathes and machinery. And
look at you.
We still have, we're doing this right. It's just, and I said before, it took Jimmy Carr a year to build Tony Stewart's program and they only raced 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a timing thing. Yeah, I think maybe in 2 years we'll probably give the Outlaws, we'll be ready. But why run the thing if you don't think you can win it? And I think we would be lucky to finish in the top 6 and top 7 in points just from the simple fact that we'd be prepared. So that's another long-winded answer, but that's just the fact of life. That's the way it is. Everybody thinks this is so goddamn easy. And the work is easy. It's all the other crap that just isn't. Anybody can take a torsion bar out and clean it. If anybody can take a front end apart and if they're paying attention, can grease it and know what to look for and put it all together. The hard part's getting the engine program going, getting your infrastructure going, getting the right people in place. And, I honestly, I wasn't expecting to have Aaron Reitzel because when I took this deal, that was the main reason I took it because I want you to build a 2022 road program, road team. That was my main objective. It wasn't to race Knoxville every Saturday night, which I ended up doing, but it wasn't all that. It was, hey, get this thing going so we can go on the road in 2022. Well, even then, we figured we were going to have to piecemeal some drivers in it. Like this guy drives it this week, this guy drives it next week. And really, I wasn't planning on racing until April. Well, then Aaron gets himself canned and falls into our lap, and Toyota falls out of the sky. Because all this has happened organically. None of this has been forced. No one's tried to screw anybody out of a job or try to screw a driver out of somebody, rob somebody. It's just everything's happened organically. Well, now instead of, hey, our first race is in April 15th at Knoxville practice night or whatever, now I got to have my fat ass at Sequoia or Sonoma or whatever that is down there in the hood by Atlanta, so we can get going. So, it drives me nuts. Why don't you guys do the Outlaws? Well, why don't you do something than go to an 8 to 5 job and freaking waste your boss's time and money? You know what I'm saying? It's just, this ain't that hard. The actual work is not hard. Building the program is. So,
people are very naive to what it takes to do it right.
Oh, they're
right.
naive. You're being nice. They're a bunch of freaking idiots. The average freaking Tom and Ham and Egger has no idea what this involves. And that's just building the program. That's not neglecting your family. That's not neglecting your friends. That's just, this is a lifestyle. It's not just something you can turn it on at 7:59 in the morning when you punch your little time clock. And then, when you leave at 4:45 and have your buddy punch you out at 5 o'clock, you can't leave it there. You take it home. You take it out on other people when it's, not going good. And when it's going good, the people that are around you that actually love you and give a shit about you, you're a lot of fun to be around. So, just it drives me insane that all these freaking ass clowns can get on the freaking, I'm on my soapbox, so bear with me, but can get on the Twitter and the freaking hose heads and all that and tell you what you ought to do and what you should do. This guy's a dumbass and all this. It's like, well, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll freaking go sit in your mom's basement and play Fortnite for the next 6 weeks. You get your happy ass out here when it's 100 freaking degrees out and you go run Ohio Speed Weeks. Let's see how you do. So I don't know. Did I get off tangent there?
No,
It just fucking drives me insane. God damn it.
So-
Might have to edit that out too.
No, I'm not editing that. So, but aside from all that, is there a benefit? Because I see more of a benefit to go and pick and choose now, just from expenses versus reward. I hear this a lot, and you would know, Ryan. I know you knew it around here, and I'll let Ryan start first. Of where you aren't married to a series or something. If it's going to rain there, like, you can stay home, or you can control where you go and what you do better than, say, if you're married to a series.
I think it's pretty simple to look at Brent Marks' numbers from last year. Now, obviously, he did very well, but if you look at the money he brought in,
It was pretty good.
I mean, his money, he was in the top 10 in money brought in. Now, that does not include the Outlaw Point, any point series, the ones that I saw. But to me, that's a benefit to be able to, there was weekends Brent didn't race at all. Went to the beach with his wife and kid and enjoyed, which is very tough to do, as Tyler said. I'll be honest with you, when I stopped racing, I had to acquaint myself with new friends on the weekend, because everybody that I spent time with on the weekend was racing.
Yeah.
Now I'm at home. I had to like rekindle high school friendships, with friends from high school and basically not meet new people, but like it was a totally different lifestyle. And I don't think people understand how engrossed you become in racing. If you're going to do what Tyler's talking about doing, win a lot and put a big effort into it. Playing around, you're just playing around. That's why Tyler and them guys are going to do it the right way, and they're not going to come out on the road and say, hey, I ran the Outlaws. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, if you don't win, this goes back to hiring and firing. If you don't win, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Well, something else too, getting back to, is it better to pick and choose? You could probably pick and choose and you can hit all the high money races. Yes. I'll give you that. Yep. But whether you run Houston Speedway on Sunday night or you go run World of Outlaws at Eldora on Saturday night, it's still about $6,000 to $8,000 to drop the door on the trailer on a traveling team. That includes wages, car washes, front ends, rear ends, motor bills, all of that. Beer for the cooler, because most of us like to drink. But you know what I'm saying. It's still, the cost of it is still the same whether you drop the door at Houston's on a Sunday regular show or if you drop it at the Kings Royal. The cost is still the same. So I don't know. I mean, I've always been partial to the Outlaws. I hope with this deal, I have about a 3-year shelf life anywhere anymore. So that means the third year we'll run the Outlaws that I'm there. So, by rights, but, my heart's always been with them because I still think they're the best game in town. They've upped their point fund. They got this new thing now. I wasn't, high at the time, so I couldn't figure out quite how the whole contingency platinum extra pay thing worked. I tried to read it and then I tried to read it again and then it didn't really apply to me. So I didn't care, but they're stepping up with the money and the tow money and all that crap. So I don't know. It's probably half of one and six of another. So I don't know.
I know, talking to Brent Marks, he says he's going to save a ton on travel with the cost of fuel and everything. That was a big determining factor for him. Just travel.
Yeah, I know we're not going to.
Oh,
I know. Sorry, Ryan. I know we're not going to the West Coast. I mean, the first year we're absolutely you never say never, but if we have a 500-point lead coming out of freaking Volusia, we'll probably stick with it because that's what you do. But I don't see that happening. But we're not going to the West Coast, so I don't know. I think that saves you a shitload of money right there, to be honest with you.
Coming to PA.
Oh, we'll be in PA.
Nice.
Yeah, I need you to take me to that rub and tug.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
you
there's
come
something.
back tomorrow, let me give you a better deal.
I think there's something to be said for races like the Tuscarora 50. It's not an outlaw race. It's going to be what, I don't know, 55 or whatever year it is. I don't know how much it's going to pay this year, but I mean, you win that race, and that changes. But none of the outlaws can run that race.
No,
there's races during the year that pay pretty well, that when you get tied up in a series, obviously the outlaw races across the board pay the best. I get it. But
so it probably washes itself out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, like, if you're with the All-Stars, there's outlaw races in here that you can't run when you're in Minnesota or Wisconsin or something. You can't even see a race car on the track, when you'd be like, man, I'm from Pennsylvania. I'd really like to be running the outlaw show at Williams Grove. But that's just my opinion on the pick and choose.
Well, that's a good place to leave it in segment 2. And that's going to wrap up this stanza.
Shit show
of our Christmas edition. We have one more segment to go. This is where we look ahead to 2022. We make our picks. Hopefully we do better than we did last year. But we'll be back momentarily. Stay tuned. Welcome to segment 3, SprintCarLimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Energy Gum. And we have a new addition to the show. It's Tyler's cat.
Yeah, this is toast. Yeah, you guys always think I'm just a big puss. I just got a house full of it.
Why? You are.
Yeah, if you're following me on Facebook or if you're friends with me, this is the world famous Toast. That Toast has had enough of this, which I don't blame him. Yeah, see, buddy.
Looking at us, or we don't.
Yeah, I don't know. He's bashful. He's like his dad. He's bashful.
Oh boy.
Well,
yeah.
This is the segment of the show where we get to see if we're smart or if we're not smart, but we won't.
Well, we might as well just not even do anything so I can get back to the bar.
Well, the fact is we won't know for a year. So, but we're going to jump in, and I think the thing at the top of the list is, can Donnie Schatz get back to double-digit wins and contend for a title? Tyler, I'm going to go first to you.
I'm going to say yes on the double-digit wins and yes on the contention, because Donnie's probably and I'm not. This is me talking, so there's the, but I think with Ricky not in the program anymore, I think he feels like he's really got something to prove now, because a lot of breakups, and we're like real life divorces, sometimes divorces in this racing deal don't end like they do in real life, or they end like they do in real life. Might be some hard feelings or whatnot, but I think he's going to be extra freaking, which I don't really think you need to motivate Donnie Schatz at all, but I think he's probably going to have a little extra something to prove, maybe. And I think their engine program's closer than what it was. And I don't know. In the team they have now, because they're two guys, Scuba's two guys, they went to greener pastures. And I don't know. I think maybe the crew's going to be a little more like probably maybe what Donnie needs a little bit as far as age. So I don't know. Do I personally think I still think it's Brad Sweets to lose until he proves me wrong. It's Brad Sweets until someone proves me wrong. But I think Donnie's going to be in the hunt, and I think he'll get probably 12 to 15 wins.
Go ahead, Ryan.
When you say is he going to be in the hunt for the title, are you talking top 3 or are you talking like within 100 points
Within
at the end of the day?
I'd say 60 to 80 points.
I think he
100 points is a lot for the Outlaws because of the way it's structured.
I don't think he's going to win the points. I'm with Tyler on that. I think Brad Sweet's shown us something 3 years in a row now that that we keep going. Oh yeah, Donnie's going to beat him next year, but it's almost like the shoe's on the other foot now, and you got to beat Brad. I think
we say that Donnie will probably win by 600.
yeah. I think Donnie, yes, he probably has something to prove, but I also feel like Tyler does. How can you motivate Donnie Schatz anymore? Donnie's seems like he's always motivated to win. So I think he will contend for the title. I think he'll be better than he was last year, but I still don't think that he wins the title. I think it's Brad's, like Tyler said, it's Brad's to lose.
Double digits wins?
I think he can be close, yes, but I don't know. I'm going to say no in the double digits. No.
Well,
I think there's too many. You got Gravel, you got Macedo. Macedo won way more races than we thought he was going to win. So I don't see them. I still see them winning races next year.
Well, I'm going to say yes to double digits.
Okay.
And I'm going to say yes to contending for the title. I'll reserve my pick for the championship to our last question. But I think both. I talked to Ricky about kind of how that program was left. Talked to him at PRI. And I think they'll be just fine. Plus, I liked how they finished.
That's the part that scares me with my pick, how they finished.
So the next one, this one's simple. And we've talked about it a lot. Does Brad Sweet win his 4th title, straight title with the World Outlaws? Tyler, you already said yes.
Yes. I got nothing more to add. Yes.
You Ryan?
I'm going with a yes.
Okay. I'm going no.
No.
I'm going no.
Okay.
I mean, it's up for debate yet who's going to win, but I don't think Brad wins it this year. I don't like how he finished. The second half of the year, he had 2 wins, kind of limped home to this thing. He let David get within striking distance. And really, if David doesn't have a bad run at Port Royal, he's right there going into Charlotte. David only finished 80 points behind him. It was David's first year with that team. Now, obviously, some of the concerns in the offseason with Cody Jacobs' misfortune, his accident out there, that's obviously a concern because, as Tyler said so eloquently in the last segment about what it takes to run that series. But I'm going to say no to Brad. Next one. Brent Marks won 14 races last year. We always say it's what you do the year after you climb to the top. Does he get back to double-digit wins? And we're going to set the mark over under 12. Does he get to 12 wins and meet expectations? Or really, does he drop below 10 again? Go ahead, Ryan. We'll go to you first.
I think it's very difficult. He's going to run he's going to run against really good competition. It's going to be a pick and choose schedule, and he's going to run All Stars and Outlaws and all the big races around here. I think it's going to be tough to win 12 again. I think he's capable of it, but I just feel like I think I'm going to say no. I just think 12 wins is going to be tough.
Tyler? You're a Brent Marks fan.
Yeah, I would say probably the realistic number might be 9 or 10, but I think he gets a crown jewel.
Ooh, that's worth a couple.
Yeah.
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 Which I would, you ask anybody, would you rather win 15-20 or would you rather win the big one or the big one or the King's Royal? And, would you rather win 2 crown jewels? I don't know. I'd rather win 2 crown jewels.
Yeah, and that could be it for the year. Be fine.
Yeah.
You win the knock.
Well, for me, I'm going to get fired anyway, so I might as well.
I'm gonna go. He gets to 12, and the reason is because he's going to run against the All-Stars. I don't think the All-Stars are going to be that great. I think you have Justin Peck, who I think is one of the breakout drivers of the year. Was Justin Peck, in my opinion. I thought Justin Peck was really good. I think he can be really good moving forward. Tyler Courtney, obviously, but Tyler Courtney limped home a little bit in his title pursuit as well this year. And then you're going to have Boomer Eliason. But after that, it gets thin. So I think he's going to go to Ohio Speed Week. I think he can win 2 or 3 of them. Obviously, he can win here. He's shown he can beat the Outlaws on the road. I agree with Tyler. I think King's Royal, he's a factor. He's good at outdoor. And obviously, he can win at Williams Grove. So I think Tyler. Yeah. I think Brent Marks is here to stay. I think getting Heath Moyle doesn't hurt because he knows what it takes on the road. He was out.
Well, he knows how the game works. He knows how the game's played. Heath does. So,
right. And if Brent's going to make the call, and Brent's he's going to have people to do it. I like what Brent's doing. I'm going to say he gets there.
I have a Brent Marks question.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was at my sister's for the Charlotte weekend for my brother-in-law's funeral, so I didn't get to watch Charlotte. He had quick time and won the race Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, somebody's got some. Either we've figured out, maybe learned how to hit our marks qualifying, and maybe we got our engine program to where we can qualify. So I don't know. I guess okay. Here. Let me redo my answer. If he can qualify, he wins more than 12. If he's got to come from 16th every night, he wins 8 or 9 and a crown jewel.
Well, here's the thing about Charlotte. He's a 14th place driver down there. He told me that before he's not good in Charlotte. He won down there. Now, granted, Logan Schuchart would have won both races, but he was running top 5. So I think Marks is here to stay. All right. One driver you think is on the hot seat this year, and I'm going to start, and I'm going to say Sheldon, because, and it's not anything Sheldon did or didn't do, but he dropped out of the top 5 in points at the end of last year. And I think there's pressure there. Tyler is part of that team. He would know better than me, but I think the Marshall, it's time to contend for a title. And I just don't think, and I think that's unfair, because I think Brad Sweet, Hall of Famer, Donnie Schatz, Hall of Famer, obviously Philip Dietz and Carson Macedo, good mix. Whatever rapport they have, like Tyler said earlier, putting the right guys in the right position, they got the right guys in the right position. Logan Schuchart could be a little bit in flux this year with some things that I heard today. But I think contending for a title is a big ask. But I think it's expected. So it's nothing against Sheldon when I say this. But I do think at some point he's going to be asked to win a title, and I just don't think he's there yet. Tyler, go ahead.
Are you wanting me to elaborate on what you said, or you want me to make my pick?
It's your show, buddy.
I'm a huge Craig Kinzer fan, and I know that's a family-owned team, but I don't know at what point the funding's going to run out there. So that's not necessarily a hot seat. That might be hey, instead of running the Outlaws, and I don't know their plans. Obviously, we're doing this pick thing way earlier than what we've normally done, but, maybe that's something at the end of next year they might have to reevaluate where they race depending on their fundage.
On Twitter today, they were looking for sponsors.
Yeah.
They what?
On Twitter today, your favorite place. They were looking for sponsors.
Yeah. Hey, did you know they allow nudity on Twitter?
Yes.
Well, I stumbled into some gal that's a huge San Diego Chargers fan
Double.
because do you know who I'm talking about? The no face girl.
No.
All right, I'll send that
No.
to you later. Anyway, I would say, and I'm being completely objective on this, and it's not because, which I don't have any hard feelings or anything, but I think I kind of agree with Jeremy. If it's up to maybe the marshals, because even when I was there, they're like, all you need is a 4.2 place finish or whatever it was at the time to win the championship. We don't care about wins, Rick. They want championships. That's the way it was when I was there. Now, if it's up to Sheldon will be in that thing forever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't think Brad Sweet's not going anywhere unless he chooses to be. Donnie's going to be there as long as he wants to be there. David ain't going nowhere. Carson, they did a hell of a job, and Carson brings a little bit of ching with him. So, and Logan and Jacob drive for Bobby. So, then probably, I kind of agree with the Sheldon thing, but here's the other one. James McFadden, just for the simple reason he's driving for Dennis Roth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go
So
ahead,
I
Ryan.
don't know. Just from the process of elimination, I think those are maybe your two guys, but I don't really think either one of them are on a hot seat. So
I'm going to go with Corey Eliason.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thinking outside the box. Oh, yes. I like that.
I just feel like last year he was probably the going into the All-Stars. I think most of us probably picked him because he's Aaron moved on from the All-Stars, and Corey was kind of the next guy that was consistently fast there. And man, they didn't win, and they weren't fast. And I just feel like it could be time. He's got to produce this year.
No, I agree. What is the projection of Ricky Warner and Rico Abreu to go, whether it be win, or I guess that's a wins thing. Rico struggled a little bit this year. He's bringing in Ricky. What do we think? Go ahead, Tyler. He's going to run 60-some outlaw races.
Is Ricky healthy enough to run 60-some outlaw races? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, for God's sakes, I hope he's doing well, but we all know he's, had some struggles with the cancer thing and then stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, boy, this is going to sound really bad, but I guess I shouldn't care. Are we going to get Rico, the race car driver that we knew a few years ago? We're going to get Rico that runs around in the bunny suit, trying to peddle shirts. But seriously though, this could, I've always said that the biggest part of a race team is the driver. I've had arguments with Carson, fun arguments, but going back and forth with Carson Mosquito, he thinks it's like 80% crew chief. I'm like, no, man. I said, there's a reason you freaking make all the money, you get all the glory, and you get all the girls. You know what I'm saying? So, it'll be interesting to see, because if they can go out and win, and I'm not just okay. So if they run 60 outlaw races, and if they have Ricky Warner working on that thing, they should win 20 of them, shouldn't they? You see, but you see my point.
Yeah.
You kind of see my point.
If you're going by Carson's theory,
yes. If you're going by Carson's theory, and I've always felt like the driver was the biggest part of the puzzle, and I guess we're gonna see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they got going on or anything like that. I think Rico is gonna be quick. I think he's gonna be fast, but I don't know. I mean,
go ahead, Ryan. Well, he's gonna run other shows too. But Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah. I say they get more than 10 wins because they're gonna run other shows. But I like the car's going to be fast. Ricky's going to have a fast car at the majority of the outlaw places. He's got to have the biggest notebook out of anybody in the outlaw deal. He's the old man of the outlaw deal. So, I mean, everybody he helps seems like they go better. So I don't see them not winning 10 on. I think what Tyler said about, are you racing or are you selling t-shirts? That's the biggest, I think. But I think when you hire Ricky Warner, you better be ready to race.
Right.
So
Tyler, do you win total?
I'm going for 10 plus.
Tyler, win total?
I'd say 10-ish. Might be 8 or 9. It might be 11 or 12. I'm not saying they're not going to win and not be fast. I just, are they going to go out and win half the races they're going to run? I don't think so.
This is a tough one because you have on one side you have Ricky, who is the best in the business. There's no, and I know Paul Silva and all this other stuff. Ricky Warner's the best in the business. Then you have Rico, who when engaged and focused, and I think he can win some races. Thought he would have won the Tuscarora 50 a couple years ago if he wouldn't have had the U-joint 3. I thought he was faster than Lance. I'm going to go with you guys and say 10. I think 10's the number. I think he can win a race in here. He's shown he couldn't before. Ohio Speed Week, if he races Ohio Speed Week, again, there's a couple that he can win. I think he can win like 2 outlaw races, 3. Like, he loves him some Peevely. If Rico's good, he can run Peevely as well as Sheldon. We've seen it. So I think we're all in agreement there, which means we'll all be wrong. This is one for Tyler. How many wins does Aaron Reitzel get next season, and can you repair the reputation?
I'll say 1 win at a time. I'm not going to put a freaking numeral. I'm not going to put a value on it.
Don't be a pussy.
Okay, so what reputation?
Well, I'm going to start with this one because
I guess that's a kind of a loaded question because and I'm not going to speak for him, but just the time I've been around him, you know how sometimes a guy sits there and goes, I don't care what so-and-so thinks of me, and I don't care what anybody thinks. This guy genuinely does not give 2 shits what anybody thinks of him, and I love it. So as far as repairing his reputation from Stickergate, I mean, it should be a non-issue because at the end of the day, it's my deal, and we're not going to cheat. So, or fudge the rules. So is it my job to repair his reputation? I don't think it is. It's just my job to give him the safest and fastest car that I can and, let him go have a crack. So, well, I don't know. I mean, I've always said when I did the outlaw deal, I always went the rule by 5. 5 wins, 5, top 5 in points. That's kind of how I always did it, but we're not running the outlaws. I would say if we don't get 7 or 8 wins total, and I'm not just saying outlaws with all we're doing, I'd say that's probably a fair number. Maybe I'm being a little conservative because I've always shot high before, but I think, just him himself, I think he's, and I'm not just saying this because he's driving our car, and I've said this, but I probably said it to you way before I even knew the guy, because our first conversation we had, him and I, instead of hi, how you doing, was right. It was the week after the Nationals. We sat down in our shop and just bench raced just to see if we wanted to do this. So, but I think he's got special talent. I think he's, no one's going to drive the car any harder than him. So I don't know. As far as fixing his reputation, I don't think he gives a shit. No. And really, it ain't my job to fix his reputation. So if neither one of us give a shit, so there we go. I'd say 7 or 8 wins. And if one of them can be a crown jewel, fantastic. But, let's just get we're all on the same page. Let's get the program built and go from there. So I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna say a reputation doesn't matter. That fans are finicky, fans aren't going to believe it anyway. So
Yeah.
who cares? And I don't think it can be done. I think if Aaron Reitzel walked up and down the stands and kissed babies, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Well, we did those jailbreak shirts out of a joke. Dude, we had to reorder 4 times.
Yeah.
So for as many people that hate the frickin' guy, we sold a shitload of shirts. You know, not that it's about shirt selling, but the whole jailbreak tour was just something we come up with as a joke, and it snowballed into a T-shirt. But you see what I'm saying? I just, you know, Sammy for the whole, you know, there hasn't been a heel in this sport for a long time. You know, pro wrestling, a baby face or a heel. You know, and I kind of think Aaron doesn't, you know, I'm not going to speak for him, you know, but I don't think he minds being the heel. All he gives a shit's about winning races and making money. He don't care if frickin' Bobby Joe Blow in the stands is screaming at him about Schwinn bicycles or calling him a cheater or anything like that. If he's standing on the front stretch at the end of the night, whether he wins or gets a podium, I don't think he gives a shit. You know, they can burn the place down because they hate him. He's not going to care as long as he's winning or competitive. So I don't know. I mean, I should be worrying about fixing my own reputation before I fix his.
Well, I didn't mean you fix it. I just meant, you know.
No, but I don't know what he's already in the court of public opinion. He's already a bastard stepchild. So
yeah,
might as well just roll with it. And then really, to be honest with you, again, I'm not speaking for him. And Aaron, I know we're having the Christmas party tomorrow night, so I hope I don't say anything that'll irritate you, but I don't think he gives a shit what anybody thinks of him. And really, I don't. I do not think he cares.
That's the beauty of Aaron Reitzel, to me.
Yeah, and like we got talking about T-shirts next year because the boss asked me, he goes, should I just let Aaron handle his own T-shirt deal? I said, yeah, let him and Shelby handle if they want T-shirts. Well, they got to talking about it the other day. I don't think they're doing T-shirts. So, by God, this is about what? Winning races. Holy cow. What a freaking...
No.
I know, hard to believe. Now, I'm granted they might have 1 or 2, but they're not going to have the freaking world revolve around freaking stocking hats and fucking T-shirts. There, I said the F-bomb again. Sorry, mother. but you know what I'm saying.
Well, I'm going to say, before we kick it to Ryan, I'm going to say 11 wins.
Whew.
Hey, I said you were going to win 13 with Gio. What do I know? So,
yeah. Well, I would like to think I'm not going to get myself fired right away from this thing. So we might have a chance.
I'm going to say 11 because of the pick and choose. I think he can come here and win. I think he can win in Ohio. Obviously, I think he can win all-star races. I think you're going to struggle in outlaw competition a little bit, depending. He's not really – he won at Volusia, but it was a rubber race. I don't think he's great at Volusia. But, like, you can win at Sequoia. Like, you could win it. That's the thing. I think Volusia.
East Bay.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So.
Or both, yeah.
Yeah, I think he can win all those other shows. So, Ryan, what do you got?
Well, I think that you guys can win a lot of races together. I'm not sure how many you can win next year. I think that the whole motor program of building that motor package is a way bigger – I mean, we've watched what Donnie Schatz and them guys, how they've kind of struggled building what they're building with the Ford. What, we're 3 years into it now, 2.5, 3 years into that. I just feel like the motor thing is going to be a big chore to do. And in this day and age, you've got to really qualify well. And what I've seen so far, and it's a very small window of the Toyota, I don't know how well it qualifies right now. And we know how well you need to qualify to be really competitive to win races. So I'm going to say somewhere between 7 to 10 races. And that's if you guys run, the higher end of your number of races that you plan on. You said there was 80 races on the schedule, Tyler?
Yeah, it's something like there's 50 outlaw shows.
Yeah. I mean, that's
about
a lot of
70 to
shows.
80. Yeah.
And you're going up against the best time trialers in the business with the outlaws. Right. And I feel like you're trying to build a motor package that, Donnie Schatz, TSR, all the stuff they have to deal with. It's taken them 2.5 years to get it to where it's at right now. I just feel like if you could go get any motor you wanted, I feel like you'd be in a better shot at knowing you're going to qualify well. I just feel like there's something to work on with the motor package, just outsider looking in.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier about building the program, you know.
Yep.
So, I mean, we're basically we're twinning his 87 car package with the cars and, you know, just stuff like that. So we're bringing, so that should all be close to the same. We're just, and that's kind of what I was getting at. But I think, you know, and maybe this is the glass half full thing, but with the TRD deal and Tommy Ryder, see, when the Ford first come out, they give it to a late model guy for 2 years. You know, guy never worked on fuel injection. Well, TRD went to Ryder and then they went to Speedway and been like, hey, develop this thing. So right there, they're already that far ahead. And really, to be honest with you, then we only ran the thing 3 times. I had the thing at the beginning of the year with Geo. And then I had it with Aaron at the last 3 at Lakeside, Lawton, and Devil's Bowl. And 2 of the 3 nights we were in the dash. You know, Lakeside was just a deal to where he outnutted everybody on the. He started 4th in the heat and just got a hell of a start. And you know, but that's why you pay the guy that money, and that's why he gets all the glory because he's a badass. He's supposed to carry you. So you know that,
and he does. I think
lot.
You get it close, and he's going to drive the ball shit out of it, and that's great because that carries. That I mean that you know as well as I do. That means a lot. So I just feel like 7 to 11 wins is what I feel like, depending on the motor situation.
Right. Well, like you said earlier, the qualifying thing, and I forgot where I was going to go with this because Jeremy popped his ugly mug up on the freaking computer. But yeah, I think really like you know this, Charlie Garrett and Brian Morrison are the benchmarks. I don't give a shit what anybody says. They are the benchmarks.
I agree.
I feel like for our program right now where we're at, and I know what we're up to, and I'm excited about what they're up to, TRD and Tommy. Really, I think we just need to pick up consistently on a night is a 10th and a half. That'll be the difference between, I'll say 15th, 16th, 20th quick and, you know, maybe quick time or, you know, at worst, the second row. You know, just put the guy in the second row and he'll make stuff happen. So I think the Toyota deal is further along than the Ford deal, which I agree with everything you're saying 1,000% because I've preached it. But I think the TRD deal might be a year or 2 ahead of the Ford deal because they went in there and just got 2 existing sprint car engine builders instead of going to a late model guy. And that's nothing against the late model guy. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
So, no, I agree with you 1,000%. And that's why I didn't say 20 wins is because, you know, which I would never say 20 wins, but, you know, we're a year or 2 years from getting that thing probably where it needs to be, just even from the simple fact that we might know what we need or what we need to do. It's just getting it done in a timely fashion might be the issue. So, you know, but no, I think 5 to 7 is probably realistic.
We'll see. I think he makes up a lot for it too because he mashes the hell out of it. But does David Gravel take the next step in his career and win his first World of Outlaw title in his second year with Big Game Motorsports? Go ahead.
Want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I think he does in 2023. I think next year's the sophomore slump. And I'm not saying it's going to be a sophomore slump, but historically the second year of teams that have been together is usually just a little off. I'm not saying it's going to be, but just, you know, boy, you know, as much as I hate analytics in NFL football, here I am using analytics for freaking sprint car racing. I think it's more if they keep the team together. I think it's more of a 2023 thing. He's legitly, you know, probably has a better shot at being a champion than he does next year. And, you know, I'm family friend and all that. I hope he proves me wrong. But, you know, I just looking at it from, you know, being a stud podcast guy like Jeremy Elliott, you know, I think I don't think it's going to happen next year, but I think maybe if they can keep the posse together, 2023.
Ryan?
I feel a lot like Tyler. I feel like we talked about that the picture that's kind of floating around the internet of kind of where they're at right now. I feel like, obviously Cody's hurting a little bit right now from his accident and stuff. And I feel like they might be behind the 8 ball just a little bit right now as far as being ready. Obviously they'll be ready, but it's just going to take a lot of work in a short period of time to be ready. And I just feel like, I don't know, that's a big chore to do here in a short period of time. And I feel like, look, we picked against Brad 2 years in a row. Or I picked against Brad 2 years in a row, and he's proved me wrong. So until he gets beat, it's his.
All right.
So I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say I'm a little concerned about Cody being banged up. Off-season's so critical in this sport, and get off to a good start at Volusia. And David's he's consistent at Volusia, but doesn't win a lot at Volusia. So that's a concern. What will be the biggest surprise in sprint car racing in 2022? Ryan, you go first.
Oh boy. And I guess it's a surprise. We won't know until it happens. I don't have it. I really don't have anything. I honestly didn't even think about it.
Okay.
What do you have?
I'll go. I think the biggest surprise is going to be that, and I'm giving something away. I think he's lost some luster over the last couple of years. Donnie Schatz is winning the World of Outlaw title. And people say, well, that's not a surprise. No, it is. I think if you ask in the stands, people think he's done. I've heard it a lot. People saying, Ricky's not there. All this other, it's nonsense. I love how he finished the season. I think everything's in place with that thing. Shaver's worked on it. Ricky's worked on it. I think they're in the right spot. I think they just got to get a couple crew guys to help scoop out. I like where Donnie's at, and I think he's going to win the World of Outlaw title. There you go. Go ahead, Tyler.
I'm like Ryan. I couldn't really think of anything like surprising.
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, again, with the whole stuff that's going on in the world, I mean, I'd be surprised if some of the teams could make it a full year just on being able to get parts and engine stuff and all that.
That's a good one. Look at you.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, are they going to be able to get into California? I seen where NHL's shutting down for a while, handful of time here. So, and I don't want to turn this into a big COVID discussion, but it just, I wouldn't be surprised, I guess, if some races got canceled, but I would be surprised if a team didn't have to take some time off because they ain't able to get parts just because they can't get them.
A team that we normally see.
Yeah. Like an outlaw team. So or traveling professional race team. So
yeah, I think honestly, there's been price increases across the board at a few companies that I know of, and obviously one of the big things is it looks like the tires are going up again. Price of tires are going up again, and you're getting you still have the same tire you had. I feel it's going to get very expensive, and like Tyler says, everybody always says, oh, well, they're running car owners out of business. Well, yeah, there's always another one on the other side of the block that's going to come in and fill that void. But eventually some of these really, really good car owners that have done it for a long time are just going to say, you know what, screw this. But we'll see what I don't know. I feel like everything seems like it's going up in price, like way more than before. And I'm not just talking racing. I'm talking about availability. We're trying to get diesel oil for at work for some of our machines and trucks. We can't buy Shell Rotella diesel oil. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird.
We live in weird times. I think that's a good one. And
Yeah.
now we're going to get to our top 5 in World of Outlaw points. This is our last one.
Do we got to do this now? Can't we do this in January?
No,
we don't even know who's running the whole thing. Yeah.
I agree with Tyler.
Now what? What do you think? Somebody else is coming out of the woodwork?
It'll be Sweet, Donnie, David, Carson. Sweet, Donnie, David, Carson, probably Logan.
That's your pick?
You know what? I'll put James McFadden in 5th. I'll move Logan to 6th.
So
Wow.
for Tyler, it's Sweet, Donnie, David, Macedo, and McFadden. Go ahead, Ryan.
Sweet, David, Donnie, Logan, Macedo.
Man, the 5th spot's where I'm dragging. Donnie, Brad, David, because he's just going to figure out how to win. Macedo's 4th. Man,
It's
5th,
kind of a freaking crapshoot for 5th, isn't it?
5th,
Mhm.
it's a what-if game. It's will Logan get back to where he was a couple years ago, we're in 2020. And with Sheldon, okay, does he get a little more consistent at the end of the year? McFadden in the 83, that car's being run out of KKR. Yeah, that makes it real difficult. So 5th, I'm going to go with the guy. I'm going to go with the guy who's been there, and that's Logan. Logan. There's tracks that he just runs really well at.
Oh yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
So we're not too far off. I was surprised, Tyler, with you putting McFadden 5th.
That's why I'm here, the shock and awe.
Is that what it is?
I'm a huge James McFadden fan, and
I think he's good.
I think he's a good race car driver, and he's a nice guy, and he's got a sweet beard. Holy cow, I'm jealous.
Yeah, well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts, Tyler?
I got none. Just hope everybody has a safe and happy Merry Christmas and don't do anything stupid. And for God's sakes, if you drink too much, just sleep in your car.
Call an Uber.
Yeah, or whatever. I mean, the mean streets of Newton, I don't think has an Uber, but hell, I'll be in Ohio at some dipshit's wedding on New Year's Day anyway. So
New Year's
that's
Day
right.
wedding?
Yeah, that kind of threw me off because actually the Hawkeyes play on a bowl game the same time, not that it matters, but the same time this wedding's going on. So, But no, that'll be fun. I'm happy for them, blah, 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 all that happy mushy horse shit and whatever. So, but yeah, closing thoughts, just, if someone's having a bad day, just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Just give everybody a little bit of grace.
Yeah. I think that's well said. Ryan, this will be our
Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas. It was fun. I didn't enjoy getting my ass kicked by you in the picks at all. So
I love it.
We gotta. Yeah, you still owe me a lot of food though, so we're all right.
Hey, I owe you like 2 left.
Oh my! Come on.
Well, what's the bet? You got to buy steak dinners.
It's wherever.
Well, I'll take a hot dog at this point.
Why don't you trade your hot dogs or your dinners in for a rub and tug?
Oh,
Jeremy obviously knows where to go.
He knows where to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, trust me.
Yeah.
Jeremy has no idea where to go. Nor do I want to know where to go.
The luxurious
It's
massage parlors of Lebanon, PA. Oh boy.
Me, Lebanon County doesn't have that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What are you doing in there? We were talking. Just talking, baby.
Tower City, different story.
No. If you want, you might want to head up Route 15 if you want to.
See,
that kind of shit. Well, anybody that goes up Route 15 and misses all 10 of them is pretty blind.
Or TJ.
Is Route 15 that road that goes up to Port Royal?
Selinsgrove.
Well, part of it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Selinsgrove, but you go by
because Yeah, because by that there's a pilot and there's like a
Yeah.
Brothers or something. There
Yeah.
looks like a pretty shady strip club there that just for scientific, humanitarian reasons I've always wanted to stop at
Right.
just to see what it's like.
Right.
But I never have. Maybe you know what? Maybe I should. You only live once, right?
That's right.
That until
And you may not live long.
Yeah, until you go to
Yeah,
that.
you never know. Yeah,
After you
my
go in there.
doctor I went and got a physical the other day from the doctor, and anymore they don't do anything. They just ask you a litany of questions, and he's like, hey, do you snore? Well, yeah, I'm fat, just stuff like that. And he goes, are you able to get and maintain an erection? And I said, Doc, there's no doubt that I can get and maintain a hell of an erection. I said, just finding somewhere to put it has been the problem.
Oh,
He found no humor in that.
that's a good place to end.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Where's
on
my
that
cat
note.
at?
We'll be back
Oh, my.
next year, the first week of January. We're taking next week off because Ryan's got something to do somewhere. But Merry
Yeah.
Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year. And now it's SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Energy Gum. Signing out. We'll be back in January. Stay tuned.